Hello, my name is Mariana, and today this is a reading for Libra. So, Libra, as usual, I'm doing a reading with my own deck, so the cards that you'll see are from this deck. So, Libra, there's a very interesting message, meaning, and way of seeing your reading today that I am very fascinated by, because I feel like part of your message is in the different way that I'm perceiving the cards today. It's like reading between the lines, but most of all, it's almost like seeing a picture that you're used to seeing, but approaching it with a new perception. It's like, you know, those images that you need to, like, it's like there are two or even maybe more ways of seeing the same figure, right? It's almost like there is this blank space, or like this how do you call it, it's like negative space of the image, um because of a particular card here. But the rest of the reading, it's leading you on a path that you you need to see beyond the surface, or you need to go deeper into what it actually means, because it's like you're on this process that you're very rational. You want to find logic, you want to connect the dots. Actually, this is what this very first card is talking about, is you connecting these dots, right? So you see that this King of Swords, there are these dots on the crown, right? So the way that I was seeing this was your neurons working very intentionally, very actively to connect the dots. But the thing about the dots here on this crown is that they are following a circular, even like a spiral type of logic. Whereas your mind, maybe your human limited mind, wants to connect it linearly, right? The way that I was seeing was almost like you trying to draw lines to connect, this dot with that one on the back, and, trying to create straight lines where the logic, in a sense, is a lot more circular or spiral, or in a more organic type of uh, perception, right? And I feel like the rest of the reading today, Libra, is I feel like you're going to be fascinated by this new way of thinking. As I was describing previously, that image, the type of image that has two different ways. It's almost like, an image within an image. I don't know if that makes sense, but it's like you need to look deeper. And it's interesting because yesterday for Virgo, the message, the guidance was don't look down. And I feel like for you, it's almost like look deeper, look in between what this facade of the image is, or what this first impression is, because it has a different logic to it. It's almost like learn a new logic, right? Or it's like reach for a new logic, reach for a deeper logic into something that is beyond just the appearances, or beyond just what you think initially, right? It's almost like your first impression, your first thought, it's trying to be, or it's going to try to be very linear, very straightforward, very maybe traditional, or like trying to find something from your background to make sense of things. But it's not necessarily giving me like a specific area of your life that this could apply. I feel like this is, an overall message of connecting the dots. So it's something that maybe you have been thinking, maybe you have been, trying to resolve an issue, or trying to connect the dots about something that is just, maybe it's keeping you awake at night, or maybe it's just keeping you in this loop, right? Where you cannot, it's like maybe somebody told you there is another way of seeing this, but you haven't figured it out, you haven't cracked the code in a sense. So it's like you are intentionally working to connect the dots, right? So this is your mind working effervescently, right? So the rest of the cards that are coming next, they are slowly but surely helping me as a reader, and somebody that have seen these cards a few times now, um, to see beyond the traditional meaning of the cards and see what they want to tell me visually, right? So I feel like maybe there's a hint in this for you, right? So don't try to find like a deeper meaning all at once. Go straight forward to what the image, right? What the facade, what the appearance of that thing is showing you. And then you go deeper. You see what I mean? It's like, don't try to attach symbols or significant meaning to the thing, right? To the dots. See what it wants to show you on the surface and go deeper from there, right? So the next card is the Ace of Wands, but actually it came reversed, and I was a little bit stunned, to be honest, because I never saw this card in this way reversed, and it made me stop on my tracks, right? It's like I was shuffling, and because there is a little bit of curiosity in you, and even like this intentionality, right? There is this, it's like your focus on this, right? So maybe you're working too hard or thinking too hard, but anyways, so it made me stop for a while, right? Because it's almost like I was thinking with this card, does it really want to be reversed, or what is this? What is this exactly? Because straight away when I saw it reversed, I saw something below ground. Because maybe you know this, but this card represents to me sometimes, or most of the times, a tree, right? So the trunk and the treetop, right? The canopy. But reversed, it was talking about something that is below ground, because for some reason it's almost like the canopy, I don't know if you know this, or if this is something that you, or you have researched before, but the size of the canopy is the same size of the roots that are beneath the ground, right? So the way that I was seeing the canopy reversed was like this root system that is as intricate and as very firm and very extensive as the size of the canopy, right? It is that way because it needs to be, proportionate. It needs to be balanced. It's like, in order for the tree to find groundedness, to be grounded, it needs to be as big as the canopy, right? So this was talking about look to what is below ground. But then this card, very interestingly, showed up with the message of now you can look up. So it's interesting because it's all about where you're directing your sight, right? Where you're focusing, where you're looking at, basically. Because the Three of Pentacles, you see here how in the Ace there are three dots in a sense, right? It's interesting because there are so many Pentacle cards, and for some reason the Ace of Wands wants to be the Three of Pentacles reversed. So it's almost like this and this are the same. You see, if I was to do this, right? You see how now the Three of Pentacles is the canopy, while this is the root system, right? That is below ground. So I feel like the Three of Pentacles here is talking about the canopy that hasn't yet fully grown, because you see here how the roots are all connected. So in a sense, it's like what is below ground, what is grounded, is already connected. It's almost like it has its own logic, right? By connection, now, today, for you in this reading, I mean making sense or having a logic, right? Connecting is like approximating, right? Bringing together, bringing closer the dots. So making sense of things, right? So, but here they are still spread apart. You see how it's like there isn't connection still. So I feel like there's something here that I haven't yet figured out, but maybe you will, because maybe you're the one doing all of this, connecting the dots. So maybe this will make more sense to you than it is to me. But there's something that you are trying to connect the dots from the ground up, that first you need to look from the ground down and then you look up, right? Because they are complementary. You see, it's almost like here they are connected, here they are disconnected. So it's almost like look to the roots and then you can look to the tree itself. I don't know what that means. So the Six of Pentacles, another pentacle card. But this is very, very interesting because now we have twice the three, right? If here we had the first Three of Pentacles and here we have the second Three of Pentacles, now we have here a pair of Three of Pentacles, right? Which is the combination of these two where things start making sense. And to me, the sixes bring harmony and flow and fluidity, right? And here there is this dynamic. Once you do this, it's almost like one Three of Pentacles needs the other, or most of all, like this Three of Pentacles needs the understanding of this type of logic because it is already connected. So it's almost like go to the roots. So it's basically saying if you study the path of nature or the logic that nature uses, that could be a lot more organic and it is already connected, it already works. It's like you can work with it yourself, right? To create the most beautiful canopy, meaning canopy today for you has the symbolism of something that is below ground. So it's almost like whatever you want to do on this 3D level, on this mundane world, right? Whatever is on the surface, that you need to connect the dots. It's like first explore what's underneath the roots, what is in this organic root system that is not seen, right? That is not on the surface. You have to go deeper. You have to dig deeper, right? So this is when the pair of threes start making sense. This is where the information clicks in, right? This is where you start to make sense of things. And I feel like this is the moment when you start getting comfortable with something that you couldn't crack the code, that you couldn't figure out. This is where things become a lot more harmonious and, I want to say most of all, identifiable. It's almost like your brain starts seeing pictures where there was just like a random pattern, right? Or like no logic at all. It's almost like here things start to make sense and start to have a certain order, a certain dynamic and flow to it that combines the two ways of seeing reality, or the two ways of perceiving how you're going to solve this problem or connect the dots, right? So the pair of threes, it is significant for some reason. The pair of threes, this is when things complement each other, seeing from one perspective and then seeing it mirrored, right? So this is the way that you complement the image, but no, not complement the image in a way that it's like how do I express this? It's like this. Okay, so the next card being the Tower, it's talking about what I mentioned in the beginning about seeing a picture but then seeing the negative imprint, right? What is not on the surface. So if you focus on the black ink, right, on this paper, right, the image that is drawing or that is delineating is of a tower, right? But if you see the white, right, on the outside and on the inside, It gives you a different dimension to something that was just flat, right? So that's the reason why I said in the beginning, the guidance here for you, Libra, is that start on the surface, right? Start on the surface and start digging from that surface. It's like create another dimension by digging deeper. The image, the flat image, the apparent superficial meaning, right? So because what I was seeing was, and focus here on the top of the tower. There are 3 teeth, right? 3 teeth. Let's call it that way. I don't know what these are called. So the structure has like these 3 points, right? And it was emphasizing the fact that the threes are important, right? It starts with this first connected 3 of Pentacles, but then it moves to the part that you haven't yet figured out. So it's almost like allow yourself to stay here digging deeper before you want to crack this code, right? Before you want to go resolve your issue, right? It's almost like distract yourself with something else, because that's going to give you a pathway, right? Maybe a neural pathway, a new neural pathway. Because it's like here, you see how the 6 can be seen as the 6, or it can be seen as a pair of 3s, right? There are 2 ways of seeing it, and many, many ways, right? But this is just one logic. The new way of perceiving the 6 is as the pair of 3s. So here we have 1, 2, 3. But in between them, we have 2 spaces, or blank spaces, or white spaces, or negative spaces, right? So in between the 3s, we also have 2, meaning there needs to be 2 3s. I don't know why it wants to emphasize that so much, but maybe it will make sense to you. So in order to flow, and in order for you to start connecting the dots, it's almost like you need to double what you have seen, or what you have gathered of information, or join with another information that is going to fit perfectly with the first 3 that you already found. And I want to say that what I was saying about you starting to make sense and this flowing more naturally, this is going to make your brain, your human conscious mind, your ideas a lot safer, and a lot safer, because the tower to me symbolizes home and safety and security and protection. Whenever you are in there, it's like you are safe, right? But what I want to say is, like, understanding this from another perspective is giving you safety. It's giving your mind like this, oh, now I can understand this. It's almost like relieving, right? But beyond the relief, Libra, it's also very fulfilling here with the 9 of Cups. So this is the most straightforward of them all, or I should say the most basic card that is coming with the traditional meaning of the card itself, and not what the appearance is coming. So it's almost like this. After you feel safe with working so hard at digging deep, at seeing deeper what you are, seeing on the surface, it's like your mind can relax. And it's almost like it goes from the mental exercise, very active, to the heart, right? It's like, it's almost like, when you're working so hard that you feel like you're not breathing, you're not feeling, you're just thinking. This is when your mind can relax, and your emotions it's almost like there's a flood of like oxytocin, or some sort of like what is the word? It's like hormone in your body that gives you tranquility, right? It's like that relief, that huge relief. It's like I'm seeing this 9 of Cups as like this a wave of good emotions, right? Or like a wave of this hormone of happiness and joy, and just most of all, tranquility. It's not like, it's not as effervescent as your mind was working, right? It's not like a, it's almost like a very welcomed feeling of, oh, thank God, I know what I'm doing right now. I know how to solve this. I know what I'm doing. I know how to connect these dots, right? There is a relief here. It's like your brain can relax and can give way to your intuition or to your emotional side, because with the Seven of Pentacles ending this part of your reading, it's like here you're seeing this from a new perspective. You see how this circular shape is now all connected because of this one pentacle in the middle, and it's, you know, just one step from this. So it's like you need the 2 3s, you need the pair of 3s to start the flow of cracking this code that is no longer in a linear way, right? You're no longer thinking in a straightforward manner, but you're understanding the circular connections or the circular logic to something that otherwise would be very rigid or very linear, right? Very fixed, right? It's like it's like that, right? Bring water to something that is like a very fixed structure, right? It's like bring malleability to something that, it's like bring malleability and flexibility to your own thought process, right? This is what is going to help ease your brain and also connect the dots in a way that it's going to be a lot more, it's like you're going to see progress, right? It's like you're going to see how you are finally overcoming a problem or finally cracking the code or connecting the dots, and, you know, in a grounded way, right? But also in a harmonious way, right? In a way that you feel relieved that finally now you have the answer. So Libra, I am going to pull more cards for you, as well as the astrological runes in the extended reading. So if you want to join me there, I'll be very happy to see you. You can find the link down below. If not, I'll see you next time. Okay, bye.